I'm George Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, and this is What's Next Wall Street.
So this is a show about winning trades.
We want to help you learn about trading in a fun, entertaining, and most importantly, a useful way.
So what we're going to do is talk about all the hot new trending products and services that you'll not only want to use, but also hopefully invest in.
We'll also cover the fundamentals of those companies to make you an informed trader and make it easier to target investment potential. Plus, we'll share our thoughts on where the charts and indicators say that a particular stock is going.
So all this info can help you create a tailored trade plan and help you stay up to speed on what's next on Wall Street. So all you got to do is stack your gains. You got to do this. Okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You can email us over at OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions. We can also direct you to the instructors and experts over at Options Players who dig into those trading fundamentals.
Yeah, so not only can you watch this episode on Options Players YouTube channel, but you can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
We're podcasters now. So I'm into cars, and Mercedes-Benz is introducing a new car that you can control with your brain. What? Mercedes says the new Vision AVTR, which looks like it's right out of Tron,
that's so cool,
uses a new technology called BCI. That stands for Brain-Computer Interface.
Okay.
You know how those nerds like acronyms?
Yeah.
So this lets you control stuff, including selecting the destination and setting the lighting. Oh, I really love setting the mood lighting wherever I go.
Oh, gosh.
The technology works by attracting a crazy halo device to the user's head, which totally is not nerdy or inconvenient at all.
Okay.
And that measures brain waves that send information to the car. There's no word yet on if or when the thought-controlled vehicle will be released, but we can bet that Elon Musk will do it better and crazier before the Benz version comes out.
I'm sure of it. And I cannot imagine this halo thing connected to my brain on a road trip with my family. I mean, no telling where we'd wind up after my son, my 7-year-old's 50th. Are we there yet? Because he does it like 50 times before we even leave our street. Like, it's ridiculous.
Today's What's Next Wall Street Pro Tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. Today we're going to talk about hedging. Now you may have heard the term hedging your bets, but do you know what that means? Yes, even during bull runs where the market's going crazy, hedging can be very beneficial and you may even profit from it as long-term thesis remains correct as the short-term concerns take shape. Okay. During long bull runs like this current one, traders feel like the market only goes up. But there are many dips that can punish call options, which are knowing when there will be market events, such as federal meetings to set policy on things like inflation, oil production, or even purchasing, and other economic hurdles that can pay you if they're done well and at the right time.
Got it.
If you have long plays that you would like to protect, you may want to also purchase shares or options in short-term volatility or VIX instruments to offset risk during times of heady market concern. In fact, you'll notice in certain times where VIX, or the volatility index, has reached a level that is always paid if you entered a position where they're being so aware of these situations can really help you not only offset risk, but profit. Definitely worth looking into. We love a heady market. I know you do.
Right, yeah. I do.
But technically, we're due for a correction in these times, so watch out.
Okay, Dave, this is the part of the show where we get to hear from y'all. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street or email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com.
Well, someone did that, and this first email comes from John in Dallas, Texas. John asks, what is a good formula to follow when trading and stacking with regard to play size? Well, that's a great question and very important to those that want to stack and protect, meaning buy and sell without losing your asset.
Wow, too much, too much.
Well, OptionsPlayers.com members typically follow a 20% rule, which means they never put more than 20% of their short-term trading account funds into a single play. For example, if your trading account has a dedicated amount of $10,000 into it to trade, you would put no more than $2,000 of that into a single position.
Got it.
We can't say this enough. Stay consistent with whatever you decide. That's the best percentage of your risk tolerance. When you deviate from consistency, you can expect to realize consistent results.
Yeah. Can't deviate. Stay consistent. So this next email comes to us from Lynn in Brockport, New York. Lynn asks, with all this Fed policy money, where they're like stimulating the economy by building infrastructure and all this stuff, why is gold dropping? That's a really good question. I don't have the answer. So
It's out of fashion, maybe?
no, I mean, I'm wearing, look at these
Oh, it's
gold
in
on a
fashion.
rope. What are you talking about? Listen, we got to ask Greg. We've got Greg here, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com. Greg, answer this question. Why is gold dropping?
Well, gold has gone down because of the things y'all mentioned, those reports that have come from the Fed or the economic data, right? So they've been pretty positive since late August. So that's been raising it because the job numbers have been good. The manufacturing activity has been rising pretty well. Industrial production rose in August and supposed to rise in September is what we're expecting. So that's helped the United States dollar boost its yields, right? So the dollar has gotten stronger. So when the dollar goes up, gold prices go down. They have that inverse relationship. Now, it doesn't always perfectly match that, which means it doesn't have a like a negative beta. So with the U.S. dollar, so when if the dollar goes up or the U.S. dollar goes up 2%, gold might not go up there because there's other things that can affect gold prices. Because gold is the universal mineral, right? It's basically the most useful mineral we have almost. I mean, electricity, it can conduct electricity very well. It's malleable. You could turn it into wires, flat sheets. And then, of course, it's pretty. But I think another reason why gold isn't crazy because we have this inflation that's going on. The younger generation doesn't care about gold like everyone else. That gold has been kind of changed. That hedging with gold is kind of the younger generation hedges with crypto or Bitcoin. So the younger generation is just not buying that gold. But with inflation looming, we will see. September historically is one of the better months for gold. So we need to see it get above that key 1800 price range. And if it can't hold that, I think it hit yesterday or today, but it did not hold it. And if it doesn't hold that, when good reports are coming out, we're probably going to see a decrease in that. But with inflation coming, it's whether or not that money moves in towards the gold, silver, and everything else. Which silver and everything else is doing pretty well. Gold's just down. We'll see it go into maybe Bitcoin or some other hedging funds.
Thanks so much, Greg. Now, I wonder if all the production for the jewelry that you get for Christmas has to start in September, and that's why gold goes up.
Probably. And you know what else? I'm feeling really old. Like maybe I should start wearing Bitcoin
Oh
necklaces.
my gosh.
Should I tuck
I'd wear
this
an
in?
ether necklace for sure. Let's go to see what's up with tech.
Okay.
So Apple pushed out a new iOS 14.8 security update one day ahead of their announcement of the iPhone 13. So be sure and go into your iPhone settings and update your phone as this fixes two major security vulnerabilities that exist. We talked about those on a prior show. You may remember the Israeli company NSO, and more specifically their government customers, who can get into your phone just from sending you a bad PDF or having you visit a malformed website. It's really that easy to make your phone vulnerable and to fix it just going into system update. So be sure to do that right now, Georgia.
Later for that. Okay.
So not that anyone wants to know what's on your phone.
I know, right?
So what happened with Apple this week? Well, the
Yes.
iPad got a speed boost. The Mini got a slightly larger edge-to-edge display with no more home button. Its fingerprint login is in the Touch ID built right on the switch at the top. That little guy has always been my favorite iPad.
Really?
So I'm most excited about the 5G connectivity on it and the new USB-C and pencil support.
Here we go with a USC what?
USB-C. So now you
USB-C.
can charge it with your laptop brick. So it'll charge faster.
Awesome.
So the latest iPhone, it's their 14th version of the, since we can't make an iPad in 2007, let's try and make it into a phone, known as the now lucky iPhone 13 mistake. This device has even greater camera improvements where you can nearly see in the dark.
Wow.
Finally gone is the 64 gigabit storage variant. The base starts at $699.
Not bad.
Stores 128 gigabyte, which includes 2 cameras, an ultra wide and wide 12 megapixel that pulls in 40% more light, 47
That's
to
a
be
lot. That's
specific.
a lot.
And for those of you with NFT throw around money, Apple announced its first 1 terabyte version of the phone on the top of the end iPhone Pro Max. That'll set you back $1,599.
Oh my gosh.
My laptop costs $200 less than that and doesn't even have a terabyte of storage. So go figure.
Right.
Really, I don't know what I'd do if I lost a device that had that much storage on a
Oh my
plane
gosh.
or
Crazy.
back of a seat of a taxi or on a beach. I've never done those things. My favorite improvement, though, on these new iPhone 13s is the larger battery. It does all-day streaming over 5G and Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Speaking of 5G, though, Apple's reported to be using 1/3 of the 5G chipsets globally. Now, since the iPhone 12 used Qualcomm tech, you should feel confident to invest in that side of the house, since Apple has to license their patents in this new cell phones technology. Do you know back in 2019, Apple bought Intel's 5G chipset division?
Did not know that.
So they did, and that will likely ship on the iPhone 14 instead of this current one.
Got it.
But until Apple begins shipping these phones and the team over at iFixit.com rips into them and tears them apart for photos, we won't know who makes that chipset yet for the 5G stuff inside. Now, rumor has it that it's a Samsung with their new 5-nanometer process for lower power consumption and greater channel aggregation for even faster 5G speeds than what you've seen on the iPhone 12.
Oh my gosh.
So they also buy the OLED screens from Samsung as well. So you can always buy that. But if you want to buy a stock that surely pays, you can stick with Apple for those trades. They're up on 50% alone this year, and their
Crazy.
earnings surged to an insane 100%. Despite lawsuits and threats of monopolistic practices with their app stores. So,
Insane.
Apple for the win, I guess.
Okay, so we've talked ad nauseum about how these little brats who are still living at home, you know, emptying their parents' refrigerators and bank accounts at record speed are pushing a lot of the changes and first in the stock market, right? But why? Because what Generation Xer, I mean, not you and I, Dave, because we're cool Generation Xers, but maybe I should say what baby boomer even knows who Cardi B is? If I mention Migos to my mom, she thinks I'm talking about Mexican food, okay? So meanwhile, rappers and also husband and wife, Offset and Cardi B, there they are. They were recently at NASDAQ headquarters in Times Square to celebrate Reservoir Media going public. So this independent music publishing company is the first of its kind to IPO and the first female-led music company to go public. Offset's involvement comes from the Migos catalog living under the Reservoir Media umbrella. So Set and Takeoff reportedly signed global publishing deals with Reservoir Media back in 2017. I already know, Dave. Yes, I had to Google Set and Takeoff. I, too, thought it was an airline. Wouldn't that be a cool name for an airline? Set and Takeoff, right? All right, they're rappers. Okay, so maybe we're not so cool after all. Okay,
How'd you miss a rapper?
All right, so the question is, are these good investments? I mean, I am loving that Reservoir Media is a female-led music company. I'm completely biased and would buy that. I would add it to my portfolio for that reason alone. However, I always get, attached to the backstory. You know this about me. It's called emotional trading, and I'm guilty. Not always a good thing. Actually, emotional trading is hardly ever a good thing, if I can be honest.
Yeah, but Georgia, it's got to be better than drinking and trading.
Drinking and trading?
Yeah, a new survey shows a large number of investors admitted they've cracked open a bottle or two while trading.
Wow.
And this is during market hours. That's what, New York Eastern Time, 8 to 4 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
It's not even happy hour in the Midwest. Research from Magnify Money shows 32% of stockholders say they were drunk while buying and selling stocks.
What?
Among those age groups, those considered in the Generation Z category stood out at 59%.
Unbelievable.
Drunk. Meantime, 9% of baby boomers say they were intoxicated while making trades, so big swing.
Yeah.
The author of the survey says that simplicity of mobile apps makes it easier to trade tasks while multitasking.
Okay, I don't want to sound like an old fart, but it makes you wonder who's minding the store. And this is like a Metro Store story too. This is not from like a tabloid. Greg, are these drunken millennials / Generation Z type intoxicated traders winning? I mean, we know Reddit and Robinhood and crypto and OnlyFans and everything that everything that anybody's even talking about is really millennial Generation Z led. So is this the future of stock or more of right now stock? And are we really old? I mean, I got the gold. I'm like, I just don't even know. Greg, we need your help here.
I mean, trading has always been a stressful job, a really high stress job. So I would say, honestly, that's why good traders can handle that mental side. But drinking while trading, I think the baby boomers are probably lying a little bit there on only 9%. Now, I don't know about Wall Street, but say on the Chicago Board of Trade, my options trade, I was hanging with a frat brother, and it must have been like 9:30, and there was a bar that really sold hard liquor that was inside the building, and it was full, and it was probably 9:30. But I mean, new younger people, like you mentioned, they have all these new broker apps, especially Robinhood, and they make it really easy to buy things with no info. And they intentionally made it to kind of look like a slot machine, or just to trade a little bit crazy there. So, are they winning? I mean, you could just throw a dart at most stocks right now that the name of them, and they're going up because of the government involvement and lowering uh, cost of capital. So almost everyone's doing better. But in the end, that drinking and trading is probably going to get you. Now, I might be able to drink and trade, but I also have a computer that runs an algorithm that buys and sells my stocks, or tells me what to buy and sell at least. So that's another thing, is most trading now is automatic. It doesn't have too much uh, human interference immediately. Now, a lot of it is planned out. So they know what they're going to trade well in advance, and they just execute it based upon their plan. So I don't think the big boys really care about drinking. They can get drunk all the time. But these kids sitting at home with their iPhone trading, they're likely going to slip up and sell something instead of buying it, or something like that. And Robinhood does nothing to stop that for sure. They encourage it.
Oh, thanks, Greg. Georgia, what's happening over here?
Oh yeah, I was just.
Do we really want small batch bourbon on the
No.
What's Next Wall Street set?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really bad.
Well, in the 1800s, when water had bacteria and
Yeah.
bugs in it, I guess a lot of people went to school and were drunk and drinking beer all day because that's the only thing that was healthy. So
See?
maybe
There you
what's
go.
old is new again.
Oh gosh, is that us?
That's
Are we
us.
new again?
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, we want to thank you, and we also want to thank lead instructor Greg Krause from OptionsPlayers.com for being with us here today. I mean, so much I've learned about, not drinking, I guess.
Remember, just like Radio Shack, if you've got questions, we want to try and help you with answers.
But not like Radio Shack, like not
Right.
exactly.
No, that's old. It's
Yeah.
new
Oh,
again.
Okay, I got it.
So let us know your questions. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, email us at www.optionsplayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. I'm George Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, and I once worked at Radio Shack.
Yes.
Remember, you can listen to this show wherever you get your podcasts and see our shenanigans on the Options Players YouTube channel as well. We'll see you next time on What's Next Wall Street.
I wasn't going to drink this.
You were? Why are there 3 bottles?